everybody, this is Carolina Millan, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Hustle. And today I am here with a really good friend and mentor, Steven Summers. How are you, Steven?
I am doing fantastically well. I'm delighted to be on your show. I've followed it for some time now, so here I am. Amazing.
Yes, I'm delighted to have you. So, Steven is the CEO of Marketplace Superheroes. He helps entrepreneurs all over the world start and scale businesses. And I am very excited to have him here on the show today because I know he's going to deliver a lot of value for you guys. So, pay lots of attention. And if you've never heard of Steven before, there might be a few people here who haven't. I'll just tell you that Steven and I met about a year and a half ago. We met in New York City. He's from Ireland or Northern Ireland? Northern
Ireland, yeah.
Ireland,
Oh, you got it
yes.
right, Ireland, yeah.
Ireland. I said it right. And we were both attending this workshop with some really amazing guys, learning a lot. And we really hit it off, and we've been in touch ever since. So I'm very happy to have you here, my friend. First of all, tell us a little bit about your story, your background, what were you doing before, and how you got to where you are today.
I'd love to. Yes, so I'm just to give some context for everybody listening or watching. I'm 32 now, so I've been doing this nearly 10 years at this point in time. And so way back in my early 20s, I was in a situation like a lot of people watching or listening, where I was working in a job as a data processor, which was the most boring job in the world. I was typing information from a form into a computer all day. And, I was in a situation where I didn't know what I wanted to do. I studied in college for a little bit of marketing, didn't finish, felt like I didn't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. So, of course, like a lot of people, we get kind of lost. So I started Googling around how to make money online. And of course, there's some great people who teach that kind of stuff, but also there's a whole lot of nonsense out there. At least there was, probably still is. There definitely was, 12 years ago, even more when I started looking for all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So long story short, tried to figure it all out, bought lots of programs, didn't learn anything, just was very lost, very like, okay, this is not going to work for me. And I got a bit of luck in that I realized, I'm a nobody, probably still am. I'm a nobody, right? I have very little skills that I know of right now. So what's a business I can get into where I don't have to be like an expert in anything, and I can sell something I feel good about, something that, provides value to people. And so for me, it was just physical, real items. Like that's something that was just real, right? Now, since then, I've learned a lot. Obviously, these are all real businesses, but my mindset back then was not good.
Right.
And just didn't understand the online game. So yeah, I got into this and tried to figure it out. And again, couldn't quite figure it all the pieces. There's quite a bit to it. So I got another piece of luck in that I met my aunt's friend, Robert, who's still my business partner to this day, Robert Ricky. And, I went up to see this guy's warehouse. He didn't really know me. I was this weird 23-year-old, 22-year-old guy. And I just said, look, I want to learn. I saw this warehouse. It was cold. There was rats running around. But it was a real business. They sold products to people on Amazon and eBay in the UK to start. And so I said, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. So again, cutting the story short, because lots happened, I basically learned with Robert for like 9 months. I worked in the evening as well as working with him all day for free. And basically started picking all this up, how to sell in these marketplaces. And so basically after 9 months, nearly a year, we figured out that, look, if we were to restructure the business that he had 2 warehouses, all the staff, hey, we could run this better and more efficiently by sending everything to Amazon, have Amazon store the products, we sell the products on Amazon. And so basically we restarted the company because the products he was selling were a bit saturated at that point. Found a whole bunch of new products and built it into a very successful business, just the 2 of us. And then basically from there, very briefly, which we'll get into more detail, but briefly from there, over the last 4 years, nearly 5 years now, we've been teaching this process that we mastered, how we went from, pretty much the company not working to working really well, making a good bit of money. And we've taught that process at Marketplace Superheroes and built a load of other businesses for Amazon sellers on the back of that as well. So there you go.
That's amazing. You went from, because you said data processor, and I'm a big Friends fan. I love Friends, the TV show. That was Chandler Bing's job.
Yeah,
the
that's
very
right. That was Chandler.
That's hilarious. So you went
Yeah.
from this job to building this successful, tangible, very important, tangible, physical
Or-
products.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
what were some of the challenges that you encountered along the way when you were starting out?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny now because like we've built so many companies now, and many of them, by the way, are not physical anymore. Although some are. We do
Yeah.
run a freight company and things like that. That said, though, so many different businesses, so many different challenges. But for me, starting out initially when I was selling on Amazon and learning with Rob and everything else, it was all belief systems, all mental systems were my problem. Still to this day, it's the problem that holds a lot of our clients back. You know, we've like 6,000 clients now, so I see a lot of people saying a lot of different things. So it was always the belief of number one, is this thing going to work, right? Like,
Yeah.
does selling on Amazon work? Does affiliate marketing work? Does selling courses work? Does any of it work, right? Is the big question. And so that was the big thing for me. Obviously, I realized it does. But of course, no matter what business you go into, you have to have a good strategy, number one. And I really believe you have to have someone that you're learning from. I don't think there's any top performer out there in the world who hasn't had somebody they learned it from. I mean, this idea that we can all just go into the online wilderness and no matter what business you go into and just figure it out. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, like people teach these things. And then, of course, the next mindset I had, right, was, well, if they're all teaching it, then even doing it.
Huh.
And, well, they just teach it, right? Of course, it's a big question. And so, that's a very common one. And so for us, it's great that we have the integrity to say, yes, we do, we have done. And also, not only that for us, it was always, well, with Marketplace Superheroes, when we build other businesses, how can we tie them back into that one? So like our freight company means we have to make you successful here in order for you to use this, in order for us to have a long-term future together. So that's how we've gone about that. But anyway, for me, just to go back over that, it was, does this vehicle work? Then it was, well, why should I learn from somebody? Then it was, what are they trying to get from me? So that was a big fear, right?
Uh-huh.
The paranoia of like this whole thing. But
Yep.
really, like, I can tell you, like, I know a lot of people in this industry, as do you, Carolina. And there's a lot of really great people out there. And like, I hope people consider ourselves like that. And what I can tell you from my vantage point now is it something I thought was a lot of crap whenever I was learning this. I'd hear people say, I just want to give back. I just want to like help people be successful. And I would always think this person is full of what.
Yes.
But but now, like for me and for you too, I'm sure
Yeah.
it's like that's the only reason that we still teach what we teach, because we've done very well, we continue to do very well, but like seeing people succeed is a big reason why we still do it. Now we do make money, I'm not going to lie, but we do reinvest in our clients. So anyway, I think that answers your question, man. I'm not entirely sure.
No, definitely you did. Now, here's the other question that people ask year after year, Hey, it's
Yeah.
2018. Does Amazon still work? It's 2019. Does it still work? It's 2020. Can I still get started on Amazon? That's where people
Yeah.
feel like, is it saturated? Everybody's doing it. What do you answer to those people? Like, what's the best way to
Yeah.
start now?
Yeah, and look, we run a number of businesses, right? So I can tell you every business that we run, that we're involved in. It's the same question everybody asks. But what I always tell people is, and I will answer it with numbers as well,
Go
is
ahead.
number one, like, while you're asking that, other people are doing it and they're making progress. That's number one. But number two, on the Amazon front, I mean, you kind of have to look at the numbers and really break them down. So the first thing is, e-commerce. Let's just talk about the US for now, because it's a big market, very
Yes,
active
sir.
market. Like even now, it's 2020 now, and e-commerce approximately accounts for only about 13 to 14% of total retail sales. So if we're
Wow.
saturated, we would say, well, online sales are 99%, and there's no room at all. So that's number one. Like it's still early days for e-commerce, which people find hard to believe because so many stores are closing on the high street.
True.
Well, think about it. Like a lot of those stores, I'm flicking my thing. I mean, a lot of those stores, they have huge, rents. They're operating in an area where they have to hope that that little area wants to buy the products that they have,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Whereas all these online companies now, they don't have always these physical stores. They've got global distribution. They've also got a network of people who are looking for specific items, and so they don't waste a lot of retail space, etc. So that's why like the retail space is changing very, very quickly. But anyway, that's number one. You have to look at the size of retail versus e-commerce versus retail. I think the second thing then as well you kind of have to look at is like Amazon right now are definitely the biggest e-commerce site in the world. Like they account for 50% of e-commerce sales.
Yep.
So that's kind of crazy. One in every two things sold, which is physical, is sold on Amazon.
Wow.
That said, though, there's pros and cons for either of those viewpoints. But I would say right now, Amazon is the leading marketplace. And if you're looking for something that's simpler to start, obviously it would be better if you wanted full control, 100%. Do your own website, figure all that out. There's a lot to figure out there. Whereas our clients continue to do it to this day. They start, they find low competition, in-demand products, make a better offer. And the key thing about us is we teach them how to do it across all the Amazon markets, not just .com. So going into 2020 and beyond, if you're going to succeed, you're going to want to be looking at any business from a global point of view, not just one country, even if it's a big country,
Yeah, that's exactly what I tell my clients when they ask me, because I live in Chile. So it's like, will this work in Chile? Like, I'm like, sure, but we're only 18 million people. Like, forget about Chile. It's nothing.
100%. Well, it's like in Ireland, we have 4 million people in Republic of Ireland, 2 million in Northern Ireland. So, if I was to do that as well here, I'd be like, I don't think very many, like some businesses, yes, that work great when they're just in one country. But I mean, the truth is, if you're selling niche items, it's probably not going to just work for you in one country. You're better off as well going global. Why not?
Exactly.
You can, so you might as well.
Exactly. And we have like all the tools available today to go global. So there's really almost no difference. Just pay attention to the local laws.
Yeah, exactly. And the same goes for online courses, by the way, because we obviously, we're an 8-figure business now at this point in time, selling courses and trainings and everything else. And it's the same thing there. If I was to say I'm only going to sell my programs to the UK, there's 60 million people there. Yes, I would have a successful business, but I'm going to run into, a level of saturation a lot more quickly. But also a lot of tactics and strategies we use at Marketplace Superheroes to generate more traffic and things like that involve requiring a global audience base, because we do lots of different things where, we get people from all over the world, different partners promoting us, etc. So like, it's beautiful. We're in 2020. Yes, we run from an office now because we're a bigger company now, but we started and I could still run an Amazon business, or if I only had a course business, I can run it from my house like you do, right? I could do that. I can run it from a laptop. We've just kind of gone the bigger route now where, we've wanted to have that bigger impact. And in order to have a bigger impact, like you kind of have to change, in my opinion, change a little bit, which is why, someone might say, well, why aren't you just sitting on a beach somewhere on a laptop? But we've kind of changed our goals over the last maybe 3-4 years,
Yeah, exactly. It's not always just sitting at the beach with your laptop and a piña colada. Like that's not what
right. Especially when you got a 1-year-old like I do now. He's almost one.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't want to do that. He wants to do what he wants to do. And the funny thing is with him is like like all he wants to do is stay at home or go for a walk. Like he doesn't want to be on an airplane and all that. So I think that and like it's great. Like I love what you do. Like it's brilliant. Like travel is a huge passion for you, and you do a lot of it. And I think that's wonderful. And for anybody who travel is your goal, any of these businesses you can travel with, it's really just about you deciding what you actually want. And that's a huge thing that people don't do, right? They don't decide what they want. They say what they don't want. So focus on what you want. Find a proven process that you can follow to start your business. And once you learn from a proven process, then you can start innovating. The big error I see, and I see in Ireland all the time, because we're not a nation of entrepreneurs. People going out and trying to figure things out themselves. Just crazy. You don't need to,
Mm-hmm. No, it happens everywhere. Like a lot of people try to figure it all out. I tried to figure it out by myself, and it didn't work well at the beginning. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So, I'm sure a lot of people are still wondering, what's better, Amazon or Shopify, drop shipping? Like there are so many options now to start with
yeah,
e-commerce. What is
sure.
your like main recommendation, or what are some of the pros and cons of both systems?
Sure, I'll give them all. I mean, it all depends what your goal is. It
Mm.
really does. And I'm not saying that to run away because I'll give you the answer.
Yeah.
But here's my take. If your goal is to build a real lifestyle business specifically, and you're prepared to invest capital to get that business up and running, I think personally, selling products, your own private label products on Amazon is a phenomenal way to go still, and will continue to be for the next number of years. Now, that's a lifestyle business, right? However, if your goal is to create a big brand, right? That's what you really want to do. Well, just selling on Amazon like doesn't make sense. It makes sense to sell everywhere and utilize Amazon as one of your distribution channels. So that's a big difference. And so a lot of our clients, what they actually do is they start with the lifestyle approach. They might stay there, but some of our clients then go, well, these products now are validated, they sell on Amazon. I'm going to strip some of these out. I'm going to build brands around these specific types of products because they know for proven market, like with proven market data, that it's going to work, right? Or they can scale it in some way. So that's another side of it. So if it's a brand, that lifestyle, that then drop shipping. The thing with drop shipping is it can work. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I have an interview on my own YouTube channel with a guy called Gary Nealon, who's a really interesting e-commerce entrepreneur. He only drop shipped, right? But he sold really high value cabinets. That was their main business. And I actually know he didn't only drop ship, he just drop shipped a lot of their products. So the thing about drop shipping is like if you're selling low ticket products from China and you're drop shipping through AliExpress, I personally don't believe that's a sustainable long-term business model. I just don't. However, if you are selling things through AliExpress and they're very neat, they're very I think gimmicky is probably the right word in drop shipping terms because they have to be very weird or like the big burrito blankets and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like you can utilize that to have a low risk way of starting, but your goal really at the back of that has to be you're going to private label or you're going to drop ship from closer to make any profits because upfront profit in drop shipping, I'm going to say is very difficult to make. Whereas if you're using it to build a list, build an audience, and then at the back you're going to sell things that you source and you put your money up for, it can work. So I think you got to be realistic with what you're trying to do. These people who are selling dropshipping as the be all and end all, go from China, all that, like fine, it can work, but it's not. I don't think it's sustainable.
Mm.
I think print on demand, however, is a very interesting business model. It's something I'm learning more about myself. It's something I think is interesting because you can source from a lot of different countries with that. You can create designs, you run some advertising,
Mm.
and then you only will build something when it's sold. So obviously that's a big benefit there. So I think again, like for me, it's like, well, what are you trying to do? And I would just say they're the things you want to consider. The pros of Amazon specifically is that there's millions of customers. The advertising on Amazon is for lower competition products relatively inexpensive. You can really, really like you get the right products and you get people buying them. You can really scale very, very quickly. The negatives, being completely honest and upfront, as we always are, is that you do not own the customers. They're Amazon's customers, so you cannot easily build a list. Now, some people will put warranties and everything into their packaging, which can work, no doubt, but it's not going to give you that biggest bang for your buck that you're looking for. You're banking on someone going in, finding a warranty card, and registering that. So I would say like that's the biggest con of Amazon. But it doesn't, if you're not, like so many of our clients, they don't want to figure all that stuff out. They want a simple model. They can sell lots of products in lots of countries, make a small number of sales of each product every day. And that's great. They can build a really cool business doing that. And because they're selling so many products in so many niches over time, you can really reduce your risk and you're in so many countries at the same time. The other side of that as well, by the way, is that the other
Mm.
things like, drop shipping as well as, having a Shopify store and selling your own products even is you have to provide all your customer support. If you go into other countries, you have to provide all the multilingual customer support.
Yeah.
You know, also, like, I can tell you from doing it, like, man, answering support questions about where items are is it's a pain in the ass. Now, it's worth doing if you want to build a brand, but there are things you have to consider. So does it work, Amazon? Absolutely. But what's your goal? That's my question.
Excellent answer. Very, very detailed. Exactly what I was expecting. Now,
For
here's the
sure.
thing. I did attempt to start on Amazon like 5 years ago, and then I got
Sure.
intimidated by the initial investments, right? Like you have to invest like at least $10,000 to get the product. Like if you want to build a brand, right? You source the product from China,
Yeah,
you get your brand, and then you
sure.
gotta get it on Amazon's warehouses, and then some
Yeah.
people were telling me these horror stories where, oh my God, the product didn't sell, so I'm stuck with,
Yeah. Sorry.
inventory. Um,
Yep.
is that like, what do you do in those cases? Is it true that you need like a lot of money to get started, or is that just a
No.
myth?
Yeah, it's not fully true, but in some cases it can be true.
Mm,
So I would say this to you: the big mistake I see out there right now in the Amazon world, and what a lot of people teach, and there's nothing wrong. I'm just saying this is what people teach,
yeah.
is they say you want to be in the most competitive markets because that's where all the demand is. You want to put yourself in with all the sharks, and you want to just try and see if you can market yourself, if you can go at their level of marketing. So if you want to do that, it's going to cost you a lot of money to start because it's like, I love soccer. So I'm just going to go with a soccer analogy, right? That's like you want to be in the Premier League, but you're like not even in the league, right? And it's very hard to do that. Whereas if you do what we teach, which is, well, look, there's millions of products to sell on Amazon. There's low competition products that you might only make, 5 sales a day in each country of, but that scales very quickly. Well, I'll break that down in just a second. So I think fundamentally, what's being taught out there is a mixture of build a brand plus you want a lifestyle business on Amazon. We don't look at it that way. We draw a line and we say you've got the marketplace method and you've got the brand method. So the marketplace method is what I'm talking about, which is low competition products we can easily improve upon, and we can sell them in multiple countries and make a small number of sales every day. That's what that is. Brand is what you were kind of describing, right? Where you got to do a whole container of stuff because in order to compete, you have to give items away. You're going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff that's very, very difficult to make work. So I think fundamentally that's the issue. So if you move to the simpler model, as at least to start anyway, you're in a really, really good situation. And so if we call it rule of five, right? Now, this is just a framework for everybody who's listening or watching. It's not exact, it's a framework, it's an average. So let's just say you had 5 products, right? And we're making 5 products in 5 countries. So Amazon.com, .co.uk, .de, .fr, .it, .es, right?
All of them.
So, well, there's more, but some of the bigger ones, right? So you're in there, and you're 5 products, 5 countries, selling 5 units a day for each product in each country. Average net profit of $5 every time you make a sale. So 5 by 5 by 5 by 5 over a 30-day period. That actually is a net profit. If that little sum were to work out for you, which many people sell much more than 5 a day on average, you're into $18,750 a month in net profit, right? And a lot of people take out the calculators at this point. Oh, what? How is that possible? But it's because you have a small number of products making a small number of sales in a small number of countries. And that is the big thing that a lot of people don't do, is they go to .com, which is great because it's a very, very good market. But the problem is they get into too many competitive items and it just doesn't work out for them. Whereas when you go with a lesser competitive item, you can start from like $1 to $3 grand, can get you a product. Again, it all depends on so many factors, like how many do you have to order, what's the cost price, what's the size of the product, what's the weight of the product. And so that stuff people don't talk about because it's not sexy, it's a little bit boring, but that's the business. Like you've got to know this stuff. And so we teach all that. We have software that calculates all that because that is, you don't want to be building spreadsheets or anything. But yeah, that's how we go about it. That's how we do it.
Mm. No, it sounds like a really like a smarter way to go than going into the red ocean, which is,
Yeah.
like you said, Amazon.com and a very competitive product because, well, if it's competitive, there's a demand. Yeah, but it's gonna be tough.
It's going to be really tough. And, you really like, it's the confusion of like, well, actually that person wanted to build a brand, but they didn't really know that. They thought they wanted to sell on Amazon, but really they didn't. They wanted to build a brand. And so like to make stuff like that work as it gets more competitive, yeah, you do have to go and build a customer list and then sell them other things at the back end to make it work, because you're probably only going to break even on your initial sale. You might even lose a bit of money. Whereas with our model, you're still doubling your original investment every time you make a sale.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little less because there might be a little bit of Amazon PPC cost. But typically the products we're selling, our famous example, it's so funny. One of our clients sells the thing that covers the feet of your washing machine.
Okay.
Who is building a social media campaign around that, right? Nobody. And that's the thing.
No, that is awesome. Like there are so many products that in the end you want to solve problems. And that's a problem you want to solve. It's not sexy, but
we all have
it
washing
sells.
machines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Steven, I know you're running low on time, so I just have a couple more questions.
As many as you want.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned that you can scale, when you go with a small market, just a small amount of products. And how do you scale from there when you're making those $5 a day per product per purchase? How do you scale that so that it becomes more attractive to people?
It's a great question. So there's two kind of functional things to explain. In Europe, right, we have a really good system. It's actually better than the US system, and it's called EFN, which is the European Fulfillment Network, right? No simple English, all that means is, let's say you want to sell your products in all of Europe, right? Well, you don't need to send your products to each country. You can send it to one country, store it there, translate your listings, and straight away you'll have one account with a drop-down menu, and you can sell in all those different countries at the same time. So that's like a functional thing you should be aware of, right? So then when you do that, 5 in Europe, 1 in the US, then you got 6 markets straight away that you can sell in at the same time. And Amazon are doing all the fulfillment for you, they're doing the customer support for you, etc. Where really Amazon scales is like, the other countries in Europe, like Germany, and well, not so much Germany, like France, Spain, Italy, more Spain and Italy. They're smaller markets and they're not as sophisticated. France is becoming more sophisticated. Germany's more sophisticated. And UK is probably the most in Europe. So you'll run some PPC on the Amazon platform, definitely in .co.uk, and maybe in some of the other countries. Now, you may not run it in even Italy or Spain. Sometimes it's not even available, depending on the category. But that said, anyway, you will find that you'll scale relatively quickly from, number one, it just takes time to rank in the system. So it's how well you optimize your listing, number one, the keywords you pick, etc. Then it's a function of running some PPC to get some initial traction to your sales. Then it's a function, like any algorithm, of time to get embedded into the system. Then it goes on to people come on, they see your product, they buy it, they don't buy it. Higher the conversion rate, the more you're going to rank in the Amazon system, simply because they want to sell more products. So they are kind of the factors that are working. But the biggest factor, really, I think, once you've done everything right, it is time. And people don't like that, which is why people try to hack it, speed it up. But in many businesses, like I run a lot of stuff now, we're building our YouTube channel. And like, I'd love to have 100,000 subscribers and thousands of people seeing my videos every week. I would, and we will, but it takes time. And, we've got videos we shot, and they're there 3 to 4 months ago now, and they're starting to get traction now. Like they have maybe 1,000 views, but it's like, it's really starting to ratchet up now. And maybe in like 6 months to a year from now, those videos can take on a life of their own and start scaling, like with a hockey stick approach. So the Amazon algorithm is kind of the same thing. And so the key is don't run out of stock, because when your time starts coming, I've seen it time and time again, people don't buy early enough and all of a sudden they're out of stock and they're not blown up, but they've blown a piece of it. And it's kind of like with YouTube, it's kind of similar. Like if you stop making videos, which we did at one point, they're going to penalize you because they want your content, they want your products. So you have to understand that going in,
Absolutely. So patience, to sum it up.
Patience, patience and products. You need products too, and like it's like any business. It doesn't matter if you're a service business, a coach, you sell digital products, you're an
Yes.
affiliate marketer, it doesn't matter what you are or who you are. You have to have products, you have to have offers, because if you don't have them, fundamentally, you just don't have a business. And I think that's another problem I have with a lot of the stuff shared online. People don't sit, like, they just don't talk about those fundamentals. And it's like, you make all this money, but at the end of the day, it's like a skier going down the hill, right?
Yeah.
So in order to, like, they're going to go down the hill, and do you know the one, like the ski jump at the end, they jump off the end? Well, like, in order to be able to jump off the end really, really high and do whatever, a flip or whatever the hell they do, I don't know. Whatever they do, they have to go down the hill first. So that downward momentum is before you get the upward momentum. And every business is the same. You have a downward momentum of resources. In order to create and buy the assets, they give you that flick up at the end. And just a lot of people aren't prepared to do that. And that is a business. That's what you have to do.
That's right. Do you recommend people focus on one product before they diversify and have a whole line of products when they get started?
I don't actually. And the reason for that is we don't build ranges specifically. Like, we look at the market like almost like a stock market, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's like a lifestyle business, right? So it's more, we're looking at the stock market. We're looking at where there's value. We bring it in, we sell it. We've got products that have been selling for 10 years. Even before I started working with Robert, he had a couple that brought into the business, and they're still selling to this day. So they can sell for a long, long time. Whereas if you get into more trendy products, you're not going to be in that market for 10 years because it's just too damn competitive. So no, we don't. We look at really what's in demand, what can we differentiate, make better, and get into the market quickly. And then really, I would say if you're starting this business, I always say if you can get 1 to 3 products relatively quickly, that's good. Because the problem other people have, and some people have, is they'll be like, well, I'll make one successful, and whenever that one is successful, then I'll do more. But that makes no sense, like, because, well, what if you chose the wrong product? Does that mean then that's going to basically affect every other product for the rest of your life? It's like people, if they start a website and promoting affiliate products, whatever, right? So they have a website doesn't get traction. Oh, well, then I'm done with affiliate marketing forever. Well, you didn't know what you were doing. You were learning. So you can't. So that's why we always tell people, like, the more products you have, the better. I would always start with 1 to 3, and then as many as you can as time allows from there.
Sounds good. I know that you have a course where you teach people how to get started online with their e-commerce. I don't know if you have expanded it beyond e-commerce now and maybe more digital products too. I'm not sure, but can you tell us a little bit about the course, and maybe we'll put a link in the description if somebody wants to check it out.
Sure. Yeah, sure, no problem. So yeah, we're kind of not a weird business, but we're, I suppose, an interesting business now, in that, you know, we Marketplace Superheroes is the Amazon world. Like this right now, we're in the freight. This is our freight brand, actually. So we do all the freight with this. So what we've done is we've built our Amazon business, Marketplace Superheroes, and our services in there. And we've all these other things that we do outside of that, you know, are typically not a fit for all of our Amazon sellers. So they don't really see it. So Marketplace Superheroes is where you can go learn about what we talked about today specifically. And that's just marketplacesuperheroes.com. There's also, you know, different things we could put a link in, Carolina. People can watch a web class or training and see what they think. So yeah, that's our program. It's 12 modules long. You know, it's really detailed. It's everything I talked about today and lots more. The entire process of how we do this from scratch. And then from there, you know, we built a freight company because people have to ship things from China to the US, China, UK, China to Australia and beyond. So we have a huge warehouse in Houston, Texas. It's like 30,000 square feet, just like 5 football fields, just some into people's heads. It's a lot. And we have one in the UK. We've actually been taking over an industrial estate. We keep on taking more units, and people are going, "Are you just going to take over this whole place, or what's going on?" You know, so that's kind of funny. And that's going well. But yeah, so we do all these different things. And then once you're in, you know, we talk about other stuff down the line if it's a fit. But really, I would just say focus on Marketplace Superheroes if this today is interesting.
Very cool. Amazing. Any final words of advice, inspiration that you might have for people who are starting out, they're struggling, they don't know if it's the right fit for them, and, you know, they need to hear it from an expert like yourself?
Sure, no problem. I mean, the first thing I'll tell you listening to me right now is the advice I wish I had many years ago. And it really is this. It doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. It does not matter. What matters is you find somebody you trust, number one, you like what they're talking about, you feel you could work with them. And you really want to go and look at, well, what's their strategy they're utilizing, and then block out everybody else and just go down that path and just learn and get something up and operational. So if you're listening to what we're doing and it sounds great, fantastic, go down the line, get some products launched and get some momentum going, and just tune out to everything else. Because if you listen to, you got affiliate marketing, you got courses over here, you got, digital agency over here, you got Amazon, you got Shopify, you got print on demand, it's impossible. It's so hard to do it all. So just pick a one that sounds good to you, that you like. That could be anything we talked about today or not, and go with one person who you really believe in and do what they say to do. And then once you have that right and you got some success, then you can start to branch out later if you want to. But I heard Conor McGregor talking today, and this was advice I'm giving myself as well. And he said, number one, figure out what the game is for you. And then number two, you want to go all in on the game. And when you go all in on the game, it becomes your game. And I thought that was really good, and good advice that I would give you. So that's what I would tell you.
All right, Steven. So thank you so much for your time today. It's been incredibly valuable. I really appreciate you. And for the people who have been here with us, listening or watching, where can they find you? How can they connect with you, learn more from you?
Okay, so the few ways. The first way, go to marketplacesuperheroes.com. That'll be great. Now, a few other places. YouTube, I am absolutely driven to build up our YouTube channel. So you can search Marketplace Superheroes. Come check us out there. I put out 3 videos a week now, and I like to think they're really good. You can tell me. And also, I'm on Instagram. I'm starting to grow my Instagram account. It's very small at the moment, which is good because you can send me a DM and I'll come back to you. And that is at Stephen J. Summers. And that's Stephen, like Step Hen, Stephen, J, and then Somers. So any of those places, come on over. Love to say hi. And if I can help you out in any way I can, I am 100% available.
I know that. I can vouch for that because you have been amazing with me. I'm really blown away every time we speak. You always give me some valuable insight. So I know that whoever messages you on Instagram, if you do get to reply to them, I know it's going to be valuable. So before we wrap it up, I know you're building your YouTube, and that's pretty amazing. I was telling you earlier, for me, YouTube, it's something I've been doing for over 10 years, but never really done it seriously the way you're doing it. So what makes a difference? Like what have you seen has made a difference for you in your channel, and any tips or insights you can provide to people?
Sure. Yeah, I can provide quite a bit, I think, at this point. If I do say so myself. So the first thing I would say is that I look at YouTube as an extension of my traffic platform. So in other words, we're building an email list from a lot of different techniques and things like coming on podcasts like today, and lots of other ways, advertising through Facebook and advertising through YouTube and advertising from other websites. We do loads of really cool things around traffic. But the thing is this, like whenever somebody comes into your world, like they don't really know you, and it's all well and good to send an email sequence, but at the end of the day, email is only one piece. And something, Carolina, that we both learned when we were over in America at a mastermind was this idea of like bubbles, right? Putting people into certain bubbles. So I look at YouTube as like our content bubble, where I can provide a lot of value to my clients, people who've already bought something, but also a lot of value to people who are yet to buy and people who don't even know us. So we drive a lot of traffic from our email list to our YouTube videos 3 times a week, all the time. And this creates that really good relationship. We also create, the biggest thing I learned was I create videos now that actually help my clients. So that's like a lot of people, I used to think, I'll make videos for my non-clients who don't know me. But actually, when I started thinking more about, I'll make this video for people who've already invested with me, and that's who I'm going to imagine I'm speaking to as my avatar, our whole channel started to grow a whole lot faster. Because I think that the problem with YouTube I used to have, to be completely transparent, was I used to be like, I'm not going to teach that because I sell that. I want to make money doing that. It's the total wrong way of looking at things. So whenever we changed that, we started really focusing on really great content. Somebody could watch a video, and at the end of a video, they can like do something or they understand something. That is massively important. So in summary, I would say sending traffic from our email list regularly to our YouTube videos. Think of the avatar was our client, not necessarily our non-client, and then really thinking, doubling down on that avatar, thinking about that avatar, and then posting more times. We posted twice a week, and when we went to 3 times a week, I think the channel started to grow a lot quicker as well. Recently, I've seen that. But also the big thing you got to focus on then on a technical level in YouTube. There's 2 things. The first thing is your watch time. That is the most important metric that YouTube are going to look at. And the reason it's great is because like we only have, I'm very grateful that we have it, but 6,300 at the time recording subscribers, which is huge for us. I know it sounds like, oh, well, it's not 100,000. And I look forward to it being that. But those people are so engaged in what we have. It's been responsible for literally, I would say 7 figures in revenue since we started. That's number 1.
Nice.
Watch time. So the longer videos are really good, but then you have to balance that with long videos plus retention. So how long can you retain somebody watching that video? So if you have a long watch time and you kept somebody for longer in the video, that's essentially telling YouTube it's something people really like, it's something people are going to watch, and something they are watching. And you'll find whenever your watch time is higher, your retention is higher, and then your final one, your click-through is higher, meaning people see your thumbnail, they click it. When those 3 things start going on the up, you'll see YouTube start to push your content a lot more. And I can tell you, like, I made the biggest mistake of my life with YouTube, which was we started a couple of years ago. We were very aggressive with our video creation, and we stopped because we were very short-sighted in the ROI. Didn't think about the ROI, and we were in a very competitive niche, or niche, whichever way you want to say it. And so we stopped doing it. And then YouTube, when we went back last August, 6 months ago, they punished us. They did not recommend our videos. And really, it's like, cheating on somebody, right? They're just like, I can't trust you just yet. I don't know if you're going to stick around or you're going to go and do that to me again. So we're starting now to really see some real great growth in our channel, like a lot more aggressive growth. But yeah, there are the few big things you want to be focusing on. And you do that, you'll do great.
Outstanding. So you have found that posting 3 times a week is a good number, and do you always upload on a schedule at the same time, the same day?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have Tony on my team him and I make the videos. So we shoot the videos, he edits them all, he does all the work on there. Then we have our email team, they do all the writing of the emails. We have a whole team on it now, if I didn't, it would be, I wouldn't be able to do as much as I do, to be completely transparent, because it's a lot of time and editing, and Tony's a brilliant editor. Like he's doing things with our videos that I would never think to do. So yeah, like posting 3 times a week was great, but really it's the critical thing is the watch time, because if you're posting 3 times a week, people are not watching, they're not staying, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that was huge. And there's another thing I could tell you, I could tell you a whole course on this at this point. But the other thing as well, which made a huge difference, was looking at what other bigger channels were doing that were the most successful videos, and doing versions of those was very important to us, and really getting that validation from the market. Because anytime we've done a few videos that we came up with ourselves that were like quote unquote original ideas, and they did well, but the ones that have done the best for us are like they're already a proven idea, and then we found a different way to present that proven idea, and it's really been huge for us.
Yeah, because I think a limiting belief a lot of people have as to why they're not on YouTube is, well, everything has been said, right? Like everybody has made a tutorial or a how-to video on this topic that I want to talk about. So, but you can take somebody else's input, and I do that sometimes. I start my video with, hey, I was watching Steven's video and he said this. Well, I would like to add this other thing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. And then you can even put the keywords of the person that you mentioned in your video, and you're doing you're not doing anything wrong. So yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That what you just said, by the way, it's actually bigger maybe than you even think, or maybe you realize just how big that is, but it's actually a huge deal to consistently tag similar channels all the time. Very, very important, because you're basically telling YouTube what to crawl, what you are similar to. Because the thing I didn't know, and I learned a lot of this from a couple of different mentors that I've had around about YouTube, is like YouTube literally has robots able to listen to your video, so they know what your video is actually about. So like people, this is why like the idea that you can kind of rank well on YouTube is kind of dead now.
Yeah.
It's really changed. It's more of a suggested game. And so what you said is totally true. Like, yes, absolutely, you can take inspiration from somebody else, do your own version in your own way. But also then a few things on that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people will like how I present things. A lot of people will hate how I present things. Equally, I like how certain people present things, and I don't like how others do, who are actually really popular. So, and as well as that, like, if you do have that limiting belief of, well, everything's been said before, well, that's actually an opportunity. I always say there's no problem. There's always just an opportunity. So how can you present that thing differently? So even recently, I just thought we did a video and it's going really well. It's about a side hustle that I recommend. We do it in our business, but it's something we started showing people because it's an opportunity that I just don't see people talk about, which is essentially being a podcast booking agent. It's huge. We have a team that does it ourselves now, but there's so many terrible podcast booking agents. I think it's a real opportunity for somebody to work with one or two clients and only work with them and help them blow up on podcasts. So so the point is, there's been lots of different side hustle videos on YouTube, but there's not very many that have that specific side hustle. So I could take something that was already proven, I could teach something new that's not been talked about before, and then you get a beautiful balance of a very established topic with a new way of doing it, a new vehicle, and now you have an interesting video,
Yeah, definitely. What you mentioned about the podcast agents. Yeah, that's funny because I've been wanting to hire one, but I wouldn't know which one because I have heard that there are some really terrible ones. Like,
yeah, they charge. I mean, some of them charge like insane money, like for certain podcasts, and sometimes it can be worth investing. But I saw one podcast recently, like, and there's no understanding of the results you're going to get. So it's like $1,800, I think, for an interview, which I would pay if I felt like, I was going to get a decent result off of it, which you always have to break it down on the cost per lead. So like, how many leads would I have? How much would I have to pay Facebook, right? To get a certain number of leads. So for $1,800, I could get at least 180 leads. So I'd have to get the same from that podcast, which is unlikely, but it is possible. So it's kind of like when you're, I don't think agencies in podcast, I don't think agencies in general are very good, to be honest. And I'm not saying that's the same for every agency. No. I'm just saying, like, in general, I've had good results with certain agencies, bad from others. And I find instead, if you could have someone and you were like, someone came to you, Carolina, and they were like, hey, I'm only working with you and one other person, and my job is just to work on your stuff all the time, and I'm going to get you 5 interviews a week. You'd be like, this is great, because you don't have like so many people that you can't focus on it. And I think that's why it's an interesting opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, I get a lot of agencies that reach out to me because people want to be on this podcast.
Of course.
And I think the reason they want to be on my podcast is because of the guests that I've had on my podcast. Yeah. They don't really know me, but they see that I've had some pretty amazing people, yourself included now. So so I found that it's really cool. I prefer interviewing people that I know. But I get pitched every week, like 5-6 emails pitching me, hey, you should interview this person, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I pick one, even if I don't know who they are. I do a little research, and I'm like, okay, this one might be interesting. But I think it's a good side hustle that people could be exploiting and do it better than those agencies.
Exactly. I mean, I absolutely, because you can charge easily $200 to $400 an episode when you get the right episodes for people.
When you get the right one.
Yeah, and again, but even an episode that's like okay, like I would still pay $100, $200 for an okay podcast, because at the end of the day, I look at it and I say to myself, if I sell something for $1,000, I only have to make one sale, and I've got I got my money back. So like, it's kind of like it's an ROI question as well for me. And so like I do so many things that are really interesting with traffic like that, where I'm always looking at, I've got some money here that I can invest in something, and how many leads do I need, and how many sales do I need? And you'd be amazed, like, there's so many opportunities out there, so many pockets of traffic traffic out there no one's talking about. Everyone's just talking about Facebook, which is a great place to get traffic from. There's so much out there in the blog world even as well that is just crazy that I've come across, crazy stuff, which I will not reveal because it's like super secret.
You can reveal it to me in a private conversation later.
Maybe, I will reveal it to you in a private conversation. But no, I'll reveal it to everybody when I've tested it all.
At some point, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So, Stephen, thank you so much again. So, for the people who are actually watching the interview, we had something funny happen last time when we were recording. I was about to tell Stephen to tell us where we can find him, and my computer froze. And then Stephen had another call, and then I had to travel abroad, and now it's been almost a month. No, not that long, but it's been a while. So that's why we are redoing it now.
We're in new clothes. We're looking even better than before.
We have different hair. No, I have the same hair.
I actually need a haircut, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've really enjoyed the interview, Carolina. I mean, I really do. I love speaking to you. It's always really enjoyable. You ask great questions. I hope anybody listening got value today. And, I would just say, please come to my YouTube. No, I'm not going to beg you, but it would be great to see you on my YouTube channel.
Of course. What is the URL again? It's Marketplace Superheroes on YouTube?
MarketplaceSuperheroes.com for our website. And then, just search Marketplace Superheroes on YouTube and you'll find our channel there. It's called Marketplace Superheroes. Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. I will put all the relevant links in the description, of course. And Stephen, I look forward to catch up with you again. Hopefully we meet again in person. I'm gonna have to go all the way to Ireland. You're gonna make me go there.
Well, come on over. Yeah. Well, I'll be traveling too, I'm sure. So I'm sure our paths will definitely cross in the near future. It's rare to see you sitting in one place for too long. So yeah, hopefully we'll meet on the road, huh?
I hope so. So thank you again. Thanks to everybody. Now you can reach out to Stephen. All the information is gonna be in the description. Thank you so much, my friend. And I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.